what role that played in shaping this group, or at least shaping kind of where this journey started from?
Well, I think for myself at least, like 2016 was really big for this team because we bowed out so early and earlier than we ever have in a major tournament really. So I definitely look upon that for like motivation and encouragement because I never want to feel the way that I felt after that tournament. And so looking ahead now, I think that this team is more, the personnel is more from 16. So I think we have to look at how we can turn around and like continue to hold that number one ranking and like really prove, what we've been working on and like what we could put forward in this tournament, like just show our best, like when the pressure is on. And I believe that we could do that. But for me, it's more drawing on 16 because I think that stings.
Yeah, and there were a couple of people who were a part of 16 that weren't a part of 15. And I think that the fact that they have, well, we all have what it feels like to lose early in a tournament. Sometimes you need that to remember to never let it happen again. So hopefully that'll be, like Alex said, motivation to get us all the way to the final and win.
I just wanted to normally leveled expectation placed upon you and that you place on yourself. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit and how you deal with it?
Well, I think this team just prides itself on that like number one ranking and on the mentality that we put forward and the fact that we have like really been pioneers in the women's game. And so when you think about that, you think about us setting high expectations for ourselves, our fans setting high expectations, the history of this program, wanting to really take pride in that. And like when you're a part of that history, just doing what you need to do to put your best in a tournament. And just given the history, we have always had great success in tournaments. So of course, if you're holding that number one ranking and you come in 8th in a tournament, that's not so great. So for us, we're always looking at making it to the final, and I think that's part of our mentality is regardless of the time in the game, we're gonna continue to believe that we're gonna come up on top, and I think that's like instilled in us from from the 99ers and from the past players.
Game around Europe specifically in the last 4 or 5 years, do you think that we might see a surprise contender at the World Cup, maybe someone who's a little bit unfancied and maybe hasn't gone deep into tournaments in the past?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that this World Cup is going to be really exciting, and I think that there's going to be a lot of teams that might be considered dark horses and do really well. So I think that's what's great about the women's game is that the gap between the top and the bottom has just continued to close over the years, and this is the tightest that it's ever been. So I think that at any point any team could win. When you start the tournament, anybody could be standing at the top at the end.
Progress made by in England, in Britain actually, or in England even in the women's game over the last 3 or 4 years. It really has gathered pace, hasn't it?
Yeah. Especially with especially in the marketing and what they've been able to do with the league and getting sponsors. I think that's huge, and it just is a testament to their investment and what they see the league becoming here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's pretty incredible to see the growth here in England and women's football.
Kind of part of each other's lives, and a lot of sports teams talk about becoming family, but you guys kind of really are in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, I spend more time with these women than I do my husband or my real family. So they do become family, and we get to know each other, on a deeper level. And it's great to be here at this training center, at Tottenham Training Center, and kind of take a step forward with these 23. We're calling them like our 22 best friends because there's 23 of us. And it's pretty awesome just to have like this step forward right before a major tournament. I think I have a lot of great relationships with a lot of my teammates, but just to take that step forward with some more is great. And it's like the perfect timing for us.
Great, Graham. Do you have any expectations of VAR or concerns or questions about?
Oh, we were just talking about that this morning in the locker room. About VAR.
Oh,
You
I
weren't there
wasn't-
yet.
yeah,
We were talking about the Portugal-Switzerland game last night and just how that was kind of crazy with the PK. But a couple of us were in there and saying how we're getting introduced to VAR for the first time in the World Cup, which is kind of crazy to be introduced to something brand new on the biggest stage in the biggest games of your life. But the overall sentiment that we were talking about this morning was that we're just going to have to be able to deal with it. If something goes wrong, just move on to the next thing.
I watch a lot of MLS, obviously, because of my husband, but I also just enjoy the league in the U.S. and just watching VAR like kind of progress over the last year or two. Something I really appreciate as like a forward is when like you might be offside or you might not, like the assistant referee like not raising their flag immediately to like give advantage, and then obviously it could be reviewed with VAR at the end of the day. So that's something that I've noticed this year particularly, that they've like changed with VAR.
Sports, or do you kind of feel some kind of similarities between yourself and that kind of team?
I actually think it's easier to dub a team that plays a final every year a dynasty because it's so consistent. Whereas this, the Warriors, when they win 3 national championships, it's typically the same players, right? But whereas with this team, 4 years apart for every World Cup, there's going to be a big turnover every time. So it's not like you're playing like this team is a dynasty. It's like this is a brand new team, 2019 compared to 2015. Yes, we have the same culture that transcends and connects all of us throughout time with the USWNT, but this is the first time these 23 players have gone on or are going to try to win a World Cup. So I think that's why you can't really dub a national team maybe a dynasty, and maybe if there was more competitions more consecutively, but yeah. But no, I do appreciate the Warriors. I like watching them play.
Memory. What does it mean to you, the way she celebrated in that way, and what it said about women's sports?
Oh, I thought it was super badass. I remember seeing it and just being like, damn, she is jacked. Like,
Yeah.
like my little, I don't know how old was I then? 11 back then. I was like, "Will I ever have guns like that?"
Yeah.
So it was awesome. It was a moment. It was all the things that you can associate with something like that: inspiring, empowering, badass, all those things for sure.
And I love like seeing women just show raw emotion and not being afraid to like be vulnerable in those like situations. So Brandy was just like, go. She didn't plan that, and I've talked to her about it. She didn't.
No, that was
But
just like pure raw emotion, which
Yeah.
is so. I love that's like the
Makes
best
it
part about
even better.
sports. Yeah.
Over the years, just what role Dawn plays? Not something that we hear about a lot.
Oh, Dawn is the glue that keeps this team together.
Yeah.
Dawn Scott is the woman. For
I mean,
sure.
she has like 5, 10, 15 jobs
Yeah.
within this team. I swear.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how she has time to sleep. Like,
I don't think she sleeps a lot.
She does so much for this team, and she like cares so much for this team. And I know that like she is like British, but she like has really adopted this like American mentality, and she really is the glue.
Yeah, she's incredible.